Hey hunters, welcome back to the shadows. Tonight, you're about to hear a story they never told you. A lost hunt, a forgotten evil, and a place where the ground itself hungers. They'd been driving for 2 days, not because they were lost, but because the road after Illinois stretched like a test. Cracked asphalt, static on the radio, the sun hanging too low, as if glued to the horizon. "I'm starting to think," Dean said, one hand on the wheel, the other draped over the seat back, "that we're turning into one of those families who buy a lakeside lot, only to be found in the basement split in half by garden rakes." "That would make sense if we were even looking for a house," Sam replied, eyes still locked on his laptop screen. "We're just driving. To Dad. To salvation. Well, we can have fun along the way." At that moment, the radio crackled with a news alert. In Black Ridge, Missouri, 12 people have vanished in 1 week. Bodies are found covered in a strange green film resembling moss. Autopsies confirm death occurred less than 24 hours prior. Authorities are investigating mass psychosis or biological contamination. Sam froze, then slowly closed his laptop. "It's not biology," he said. "It's not random." "Then what is it?" "I've read about this. There are legends, rare, old, about places where the earth lives, where it doesn't just accept the dead, it takes the living. They say it happens where an ancient cult once stood, those who believed the earth was a mother and wanted to return to her embrace." "So you're telling me the ground is a serial killer?" Dean smirked. "No, I'm saying something is making it kill, and we need to go there." Dean glanced in the rearview mirror. Just empty road. Yet he felt it. Something waiting. Ahead. Beneath their feet. 6 hours later, they rolled into Black Ridge. The town looked abandoned long before the killings began. Stores boarded up. Flags sagging. Salt crosses drawn on windows. People moved fast. Eyes down, never meeting each other. No laughter. No lingering. The cemetery sat atop a hill, surrounded by barbed wire. A sign posted, "Do not enter. Sacred ground." "Of course," Dean muttered. "Because when people say sacred, it always ends well." They found the mayor, a former schoolteacher now barricaded in his office, salt lines under every door. "They just vanish," he said, hands trembling. "No screams. No running. Step onto the graveyard, and they sink. Like the earth swallowed them whole." "And the bodies?" Sam asked. "We find them an hour later. Underground. But not deep. Like she spat them back out. Only they're not human anymore. Skin like bark. Eyes sealed under a crust. And from their chests, new growths. Shoots." He handed over a photo. A man lying in a shallow pit, covered in green, mouth full of soil. On his chest, a symbol, an upside-down oak tree. "What does it mean?" Dean asked. "It's the mark of Nergal-Ara," the mayor whispered. "The goddess who waits below." Those who served her used to say, "Whoever steps on sacred ground becomes part of her forever." That night, they scouted the graveyard. From a distance, through binoculars. At the center, an enormous dead oak. Trunk cracked, bark carved with symbols, roots wrapping dozens of graves like fingers clutching flesh. "There it is," Sam said. "The hollow tree, the heart of it all. If the legend's true, it was planted over the first priest's grave, the source of her power. So we burn it and drive off?" Dean asked. "If we're lucky." At that moment, the ground shuddered. Not violently, but enough to feel, as if something vast had just exhaled beneath their feet. And in the silence of the night, a voice, not from anywhere, but from the earth itself. "You have come. You have heard. You will be mine." Dean turned. At the edge of the graveyard stood a woman, in a long green dress, barefoot, hair made of tangled roots, smiling, not with her eyes, with her mouth. "Hey, sweetheart," he said, "you're definitely at the wrong party." She didn't answer, just faded away, as if dissolving into the grass. Sam looked at him. "Did you see her?" "Yeah, and I can tell you one thing. She wants me, but I'm already taken." They returned to the car, but when Dean slid into the driver's seat, he noticed, under his jacket, on his skin, a thin layer of damp soil, as if he'd already begun to belong. The motel room smelled of mildew and something older, like dust that had once been paper, or paper that had once been skin. Dean wiped the soil from his chest with a wet rag. It came off easily, too easily, like it wasn't meant to stay, just to remind him, "You were touched." "You think it got inside?" Sam asked, watching him. I don't feel any urges to start photosynthesizing, if that's what you mean, Dean said, pulling his shirt back on. But yeah, something reached through, and it liked what it found. Sam didn't answer. He was reading through old county records on his laptop, scanned documents from the late 1800s. Black Ridge hadn't always been a town. It began as a settlement called Elo Grove, a religious commune devoted to Mother Earth, led by a man named Elias Thorne, self-proclaimed prophet. Listen to this, Sam said. The body is temporary. The soil is eternal. To return is not death, it is rebirth. Those who reject the embrace are cursed to wander, hollow. Great, Dean muttered. A cult that thought composting was salvation. Not just composting. Worship. They believed the earth was alive. That she dreamed. That she chose who would join her. And Elias Thorne claimed he was her voice. He turned the screen. A faded photograph. A gaunt man in a long coat, standing before the same dead oak they'd seen on the hill. Behind him, dozens of followers, kneeling, hands pressed into the dirt. He died in 1893, Sam continued. Official cause, buried alive during a ritual. His followers sealed him under the tree, so he could become one with her. But there's no body, no bones, just a hole where the roots grew thicker overnight. So let me get this straight, Dean said. We're dealing with a goddess of dirt who collects husbands and turns people into potted plants. Basically, Sam said. And if the hollow tree is planted over Thorne's grave, then it's not just a symbol. It's a throne, and she's been waiting for someone to sit on it. They went back at dawn. No barbed wire could stop them now. Dean cut through with bolt cutters. They stepped onto the graveyard, and the air changed. Thicker, warmer, like walking into a greenhouse full of rot. At the center, the hollow tree stood still, but its bark pulsed faintly, as if breathing. Then a sound. From beneath the soil. A slow, rhythmic thump. Not a heartbeat. Something deeper. Older. It's alive, Sam whispered. Or something's using it, Dean said. They circled the tree. Found carvings in the roots. Names. Dates. Faces. Some recent. One fresh groove read. David Morris, returned to soil. Sam froze. That's impossible. What? David Morris. My classmate. From Knoxville. We were in the same school for a year. I haven't seen him since '98. He wanted to be a biologist. Said he'd prove monsters weren't real. And now he's carved into a tree like garden decor? Yeah, poetic. Sam pulled out his phone. Searched local news. Found it. Dr. David Morris, visiting researcher, declared missing after last seen entering Black Ridge Cemetery. He came here, Sam said, voice tight. He was studying the soil anomalies. And she took him. Dean put a hand on his shoulder. We find him, even if he's not all here. They dug, not far from the tree, just enough to break the surface. The ground gave way too easily, like digging through wet bread. And there, half buried, covered in moss and thin vines, was a body. Male, mid-30s, face peaceful, eyes sealed shut with a green film. From his chest, 3 young branches curled upward, like arms reaching for sun. Sam dropped to his knees. David. The man's lips moved. Slow. Weak. But words formed. Sam, you shouldn't be here. I'm getting you out, Sam said, grabbing a shovel. No, it's too late. She's in me. I can feel her singing. It's so quiet down there. So warm. I want to sleep. His hand twitched. Roots snaked from his fingers into the soil. She's turning him into part of the network, Sam realized. Like the tree. Like the others. Dean looked up. The wind had stopped. Birds gone silent. Even the leaves hung still. Then, softly, from every grave around them, came a whisper. Lie down. Be still. Return to soil. Dozens of voices. Hollow. Hungry. Calling. Dean grabbed Sam's arm. We need to go. Now. But as they turned, the earth shifted beneath their feet. Not cracking. Closing. Like hands folding shut. And from the hollow tree, a low groan. As if something deep below was waking up. They barely made it out. The ground didn't just shake, it reached. Roots burst from the soil like whips, lashing at their legs. Dean fired salt rounds into the earth. The shots echoed like screams. Sam dragged him back as a trench opened beneath them, swallowing the shovel, the flashlight, half the edge of the grave. They collapsed behind the wire fence, gasping. Behind them, the cemetery was silent again. No wind, no voices, just the hollow tree, standing tall, its bark now pulsing with a slow, green glow. That wasn't dirt, Dean said, wiping blood from a gash on his forearm. That was alive. It's not just a tree, Sam whispered. It's a conduit. A root system fused with human remains, powered by belief. And David, he's becoming part of it. A new node in her network. So what do we burn? The tree? The bones? The whole damn graveyard? We burn the source. The hollow tree. But not yet. She's testing us. Now she knows we can resist. Which means she'll come for us directly. Back at the motel, Sam researched feverishly. Old journals. Folklore texts. He found a passage in a banned 19th century grimoire. To summon Nergal-Ara, one must stand barefoot upon sacred soil and speak the name thrice. Nergal-Ara, mother below, I return to you. To break her hold, one must destroy the anchor tree, but only after offering a life freely given. For she feeds on sacrifice, and only sacrifice can unmake her. Great, Dean said. So we either die or get someone else to. Or we trick her, Sam said. Make her think she's one. Dean looked at him. Knew that look. The one that meant, I have a terrible idea. That night, Dean went back. Alone. Sam argued. Begged. Threatened to lock him in the trunk. But Dean was already dressed. Boots unlaced. Jacket open. Gun tucked behind his back. Useless. She wants me, he said. Not because I'm strong. Because I'm tired. Because I've spent my life protecting everyone but myself. She offered peace. And for a second, I wanted it. Then don't go. I have to. If she thinks I'm surrendering, if she pulls me in, I can plant the thermite charge right at the base of the tree. You trigger it from outside. Burn the roots. Break the link. And if you're already gone when you get down there? Dean paused. Looked at his brother. Then make sure the fire's hot enough to kill a god. Dean stepped onto the graveyard. No resistance. No roots. The air was still. Warm. Like being wrapped in a blanket soaked in soil. At the center, the hollow tree loomed. The glow brighter now. Pulsing like a heartbeat. Then, she appeared. Not from the shadows. From the ground. Rising slowly, as if grown from the earth itself. Nergal-Ara. Tall. Slender. Dressed in a gown of woven vines and moss. Her skin, pale, veined with green. Hair, long, black, threaded with roots. Eyes closed. But she saw him. You have returned, she said. Voice soft, rich, like rain through leaves. You are weary. You are broken. Lie down. Let me hold you. Dean took off his jacket. Let it fall. I am tired, he said. I've carried so much. Lost so many. I just wanted to stop. It will, she whispered, stepping closer. No more pain. No more fear. Only silence. Only warmth. Only me. She reached out. Fingers cool. Earth-scented. Traced his cheek. Dean closed his eyes. Let himself tremble. Act weak. I want to believe you, he said. But I'm scared. Fear is the last gift of the living. Give it to me. And be free. She pulled him close. Not to embrace. To consume. And as she leaned in, Dean moved. Fast. Precise. Planted the thermite charge deep into a crack at the tree's base. Then stumbled back. Sorry, sweetheart, he said. I may be tired, but I'm not yours. She screamed, not with rage. With betrayal. You dare reject the embrace? You will be taken. The ground erupted. Roots surged like serpents. Vines lashed from the tree, whipping toward him. Dean ran, barely dodging. Arms up, skin torn. At the fence, Sam waited. Saw the charge planted. Pressed the detonator. Whoosh. White fire exploded against the trunk. The hollow tree shrieked. An inhuman sound, like wood and bone breaking. Green light flared, then dimmed. For a moment, silence. Then wind. Real wind. Cold. Clear. Blowing through the trees. The glow was gone. The whispers, silent. The ground, still. Dean lay on his back, breathing hard. Sam ran to him. You okay? Never better, Dean gasped. Just got rejected by Mother Nature herself. Kinda stings. But as they turned to leave, a final whisper rose from the ashes. I'm not dead. I am waiting. The earth remembers. The fire burned through the night. Not just the hollow tree. The roots. The network beneath the soil. Flames crawled through the earth like veins of light, consuming the twisted fusion of wood and bone, ash rising in slow spirals under a moon that seemed to watch. By dawn, only charred stumps remained. No glow. No pulse. No whispers. But Sam didn't feel victory. He felt absence, like something had been removed. not destroyed. An absence leaves a hole. Dean sat on the hood of the Impala, cleaning his gun with deliberate slowness. Not because it needed it, because movement kept the thoughts quiet. "She's gone," he said. "For now." "I think she wanted us to think that," Sam replied. "That's how she works. Makes you believe you won, so you stop watching the ground." They returned to David Morris's body. It was still there, half buried, chest cracked open, branches withered from the fire. But the green film over his eyes was gone. His face, peaceful, human. Sam knelt, closed David's eyelids. He was trying to understand, Sam said quietly. Not run, not fight, just learn. And that got him killed. Yeah? Well, welcome to our lives, Dean muttered. Curiosity gets you dead. Trust gets you buried. Only thing that keeps you alive is knowing when to burn it all down. Back at the motel, they packed their bags. Salt lines erased. Weapons loaded. Case closed. But as Sam flipped through David's notebook, one last time, he found something new. A page he'd missed. Smudged, water-damaged, but legible. If the tree burns, she'll sleep. But not die. She lives in the soil itself. In every grave where the dead are forgotten. In every heart that longs for peace too much. She waits. And when the world grows tired again, she will rise. Sam stared at it, then tore the page out, burned it in the sink. What was it? Dean asked. A warning. Or a lie. Either way, it doesn't leave this room. They drove for hours. No destination. Just road. The Impala hummed, steady reel. Rain tapped the roof like fingers testing the glass. Then, Dean spoke. You know what she said to me? Before the fire. When she touched my face. She didn't say, I love you, or you're safe. She said, you don't have to be strong anymore. Sam looked at him. Said nothing. That's the thing, Sam, Dean went on. It wasn't a threat. It was a gift. And part of me wanted to take it. But you didn't. No, because someone's got to keep the fire going. Even when the world wants to sleep. Near sunset, they passed a sign. Salvation, Iowa, 92 miles. Sam exhaled. Finally, Dad's waiting. Yeah, Dean said. And he's probably going to ask if we've been hunting. We have. Just not the kind he knows. They didn't speak after that. Just listened to the engine. Watched the fields roll by. But deep below, where no light reached. In the scorched soil of Black Ridge. A single root twitched. Once. Faint. Like a heartbeat. They didn't stop for food. Didn't pull over to sleep. Just drove. Like if they slowed down, the silence would catch up. But silence wasn't the problem. It was the absence of it. No whispers in the vents. No hum from the soil. No visions in the rear view. For the first time in days, the world felt normal. Too normal. Sam kept checking his phone. No signal. No news alerts. Nothing about Black Ridge. Like the whole town had been erased from the record. You think anyone will remember? He asked. David. The others. What really happened? Dean glanced over. Hands steady on the wheel. Face unreadable. Doesn't matter if they do. We remember. And that's enough. But what if we're wrong? What if she's not gone, just hiding? Waiting for someone else to step on a sacred ground? Then let her wait. We burned her throne. Cut her roots. She's not coming back with a shovel and a prayer. But even as he said it, a sound crackled through the static of the radio. Not a voice. A breath. Then 3 words. Whispered like seeds planted in dark soil. I am patient. Dean turned it off. Slammed the knob. Dead air. Bad wiring. Happens all the time. Sam didn't argue. Just watched the horizon. The fields. The sky. But under his seat, where Dean couldn't see, he kept a small bag of ash. From the hollow tree. Not for evidence. For fire. For next time. 2 nights later, in a roadside motel outside Des Moines, Iowa, Dean dreamed. He stood in Black Ridge. The graveyard hole again. The hollow tree taller. Greener. Alive. And beneath it, rows of people, kneeling. Some familiar. Some not. All barefoot. All whispering. Lie down. Be still. Return to soil. At the front, David Morris. Eyes open. Green. Smiling. You should have stayed, he said. It doesn't hurt. Not anymore. Then, movement. From the tree. A figure rising. Nergal-Ara. But different. Stronger. Her gown now woven from human hair and bark. Her voice, not soft. Commanding. You broke my form. Not my will. I live in every grave unvisited. In every heart that longs to stop fighting. I am the quiet after the storm. I am the end of pain. And I will return. Dean woke gasping. Sweating. Heart pounding. He looked at his hands. No soil. No roots. Just scars. But on the window, fogged from the cold, 3 letters formed in condensation. D-O-W-N. He wiped it away. Didn't tell Sam. The next morning, Sam found him cleaning the guns again. Too carefully. Too slow. You didn't sleep, Sam said. I did. Bad dream. Nothing new. Was it her? Dean hesitated, then met his brother's eyes. Yeah, she's not done. Maybe never will be. But dreams are just dreams. And we're still here. Still moving. Sam nodded, packed his laptop, closed the case file. On the last page, his own handwriting. We beat her, but we didn't kill her. And as long as there's grief, she has a way back. He shut it, got into the car. Behind them, the sun rose. Bright, real, warming the asphalt. For now. The road to salvation grew clearer with every mile. No more static. No whispers in the dark. No dreams of greenlit graves. Just open highway, fading clouds, and the steady hum of the Impala's engine, like a heartbeat that refused to stop. They didn't talk much. Not about Black Ridge. Not about David. Not about the dream. Some things were meant to stay buried. Others, just too heavy to carry out loud. But on the 3rd morning after leaving Missouri, Sam broke the silence. You know, she wasn't entirely wrong. Dean glanced over. Eyes sharp. Guard up. About what? That we're tired. That we don't have to keep doing this. That maybe peace isn't the enemy. Dean exhaled. Long, slow. Like he'd been holding it for years. Peace is fine. I just don't trust anything that offers it for free. Especially if it wants me 6 feet under to get it. Sam almost smiled. Almost. I think that's the first time you've ever used 6 feet under correctly. Huh. Next time I'll say pushing up daisies. See if you laugh then. They crossed into Iowa at dawn. Fields stretched wide. Sky flat. Wind low. A place where secrets could hide in plain sight. And then, radio static. Just a flicker. Then a voice. Faint. Familiar. Missing hiker found dead near Blackwater Ridge. Severe lacerations. Local police suspect animal attack. Sam sat up. Dean met his eyes. No words needed. They already knew. This wasn't just another case. This was the next door. But something was different now. Before, they would have followed the call blindly, driven toward blood and teeth and rage. Now, they hesitated, because they'd seen something beyond the veil. Something older than demons. Something that moved in silence. Something that chose them. Dean reached over, turned off the radio. Silence settled in. We're not the same, he said quietly. No, Sam agreed. We saw something we weren't meant to see. And survived. Doesn't mean we understood it. Doesn't mean we have to. Maybe just knowing there's something out there, something that watches, that waits, that's enough. Dean nodded, started the engine again, pulled onto the shoulder, opened the glove compartment, took out their father's journal, flipped to a blank page, wrote one line, "We're coming, Dad," then closed it, drove forward, and as the sun rose behind them, casting long shadows ahead, the Impala rolled toward the trees, toward the hunt, toward the dark. But this time, they carried more than weapons. They carried a secret, a nameless savior, a feather that once glowed, and deep in Dean's chest, beneath the scars, beneath the pain, a quiet certainty. He will come again, not as a whisper, not as a dream, but as light breaking through stone.